Hey guys, this is episode 4 of my podcast series. Today I will be talking about a tough life and how to deal with it. If you are alone, if you feel marooned, if you feel like you have no friends, if you have a bad marriage, if you have a bad relationship, if you have no parents, if your parents don't love you, if your colleagues don't love you, if you hate your job, this is the podcast for you. If you have a good life, I would still request you to keep listening. Nothing against you. All right, so here are 7 methods or 7 ways of dealing with a tough life. The number one way of dealing with a tough life is to accept the status quo. Instead of running away with what is happening to you, for example, if your girlfriend has broken up with you and you are wondering about how to get over it, I think the first and the most crucial step and the most difficult, but the one which will immediately salve your wound is the acceptance of the status quo. Accept what has happened to you. You know, somebody in your life has passed away. You've lost your job. Some calamity has struck your world. Something you are fearful has happened or is about to happen. Accept how you are feeling right now. Don't struggle against that emotion. Let it out. Cry if you have to. But accepting what has happened is a great way of starting. Often we resist things. We want to we are under a lot of scrutiny, under a lot of, competitive scrutiny to be a certain way, to be a man about it, to be a woman about it. But there's no shame in accepting what has happened to you, and emotionally accepting it will really alleviate. I feel it's the immediate way of beginning to end your suffering. The second thing which I would really highly recommend people is vulnerability. Because I feel we are constantly trying to be or play up to what society expects us to be. Sometimes, yesterday, some friends came to meet me, some new friends, and before they came, I told myself I'm not going to go out of my way because I find it very draining to be this person people expect me to be. So you have to be vulnerable with yourself and true to yourself. Be vulnerable. Entrust your deepest, darkest secrets with a stranger. Because when you're vulnerable, you wear your heart on your sleeve, and there's something remarkable and heroic about that, versus just being a person who is very non-committal to their suffering or their feeling or their equations because they want to possess this holier than thou, more macho than thou facade. I don't think that really helps. When I feel when something really bad happens to me, I like to confide in my wife, because once I say that I'm feeling scared about something, it really helps. But often I'm resistant about the same thing. Just because I'm talking about these points, it doesn't mean I've mastered life. I go through these things all the time. So I feel they're very relevant topics, and these are how I deal with things. So the second step of dealing with a tough life is to accept that you are vulnerable, accept that you are emotional, accept that you can sometimes struggle, and then display that vulnerability by sharing your thoughts and feelings with somebody. It could be anybody in your life. And there's nothing wrong with that, because we often play up to what society thinks we are instead of playing up to the person we truthfully are. Within ourselves, we know it. Now, number 3 is more of a discipline thing. It's more of a thing which I feel a lot of people don't understand, and they find themselves, struggling in life. I think you need to have a value system. You need to make a list of values and disciplines you want to possess. For example, you want to have the value of going to the gym every day. You want to have the value of reading every day. You want to wake up on time every morning. You want to always be full of health and vitality. You want to be funny all the time. You want to believe in God. Having a value system is something very critical. How do you get a value system? You should ask yourself what it is that you want to be in life. So for example, if you You are the CEO of your life, so you need to figure out how you want to be in life and what values really appeal to you, what values improve your life. For me, if I don't work out every day, I feel not very good. So I know that is very high on my value system. I have to have a bath every day. I like to have a bath before I have my first meal, because it really gets the day going. I also value having a cold shower when I can. I like to read every day. If I don't read every day, I feel I am not really growing in life, and that is my value system. What is your value system? Identifying your value system will save you a lot of untold trouble which might happen to you in future times. So definitely look into that. Number 4 is more of an understanding. When things are happening to you, you need to understand 3 very important things. And I read this in a book and it has stayed with me since forever. I read that there are 3 things in life. Sometimes we need to identify with how we are feeling. For example, if I feel that something bad is going to happen to me tomorrow, I need to ask myself whether it's an opinion, whether it's a belief, or whether it's a conviction. And understanding the difference between opinion, belief, and conviction is very critical. For example, I have an opinion that India is doing well on a global scale. Some people might say, I believe that India is doing well on a global scale. So they have a more firm opinion is a belief. Saying I'm convinced that India is doing well on a global scale is a conviction. So understanding opinion, belief, and conviction will really help you in identifying your thoughts and mirages thereof. There are many smokes and mirrors which your mind does to you. Always identify with a feeling by asking yourself, is this an opinion, belief, or conviction? Number 5 would be objectivity. This is very linked to the point 4 of opinion, belief, and conviction. When some tragedies happen to you or is about to happen to you, for example, let's say your girlfriend cheated on you, okay, and left you, and that has happened 2 years back or 3 years back. You need to objectively ask yourself if, remaining possessed and obsessed by that thought system is assisting you in life, or if it's not assisting you in life. If it is not assisting you in life, you need to try to get rid of it. After accepting it, after emotionally, grieving to it, you need to be objective with yourself and play back those scenarios in a more scientific way and try to get rid of that thing which is stopping you from going on to the next level. Many people say they are procrastinate a lot and are very lazy with things and all that. But you need to really have a value system. Like I said earlier, you need to know the difference between opinion, belief, and conviction. And you need to actually take down a book and write down things which matter to you, which are important to you, and what is not important to you. If you are feeling stressed out about 4 or 5 things, write it on a piece of paper and then read what you have written and ask yourself objectively if these things are actually worth worrying about and what is actually guiding you from stopping you from being guided. What is misguiding you in life? I hope that was helpful. Number 6. So the sixth point is again linked with the value system, and that is discipline your life. Understanding things or core principles and core tenets of what make you be you is very essential. And this is also linked with procrastination. If you have a strong value system, and if you feel there are certain 5 or 7 actions you must do every day, I think that will really, really, really help you, because if you don't have a value system, then what is your roadmap in life? If you do a daily chore every day, like for example, if you instill yourself with 4 or 7 habits every day, it will help you. And once you are on that path of understanding you better, I think you'll find it much easier to deal with a tough life. Most people don't do the groundwork on themselves, and they keep wondering why they are so fallible, and why, when you are actually convinced when you're actually convinced about who you are and who you are as a person, what you represent in life and what you stand for, it is very difficult for an outward force to come and destroy you like a pack of cards. So definitely look into this one. I feel it's very critical that people start understanding the core principles of their own life. For example, one of my core principles is to believe in God. One of my core principles is generosity. One of my core principles is giving. One of my core principles is money. One of my core principles is always being there for people who truly matter to me. One of my core principles is being a good listener. One of my core principles is not allowing myself to have a bad day. I'm not allowed to have a bad day, but I've had a bad day for the past 3 days. So I've had the last 3 days, yesterday, day before yesterday, and the day before yesterday. They've not been the best days. And I really ask myself why that is happening. And I realize it's because my trainer has gone for a vacation. So I've just been half-assing it at the gym. I've just been running in my basement and I haven't really been working out. So that is affecting my psyche because I'm straying away from my value and my core principle. All right, dude. The last and the most important point of how to deal with a tough life is something which was very surprising for me, but it is very simple. If you want to deal with a tough life, you need to finish things you start. I'll repeat. If you want to get ahead in life, if you want to not be miserable anymore, then you need to be that person who finishes things they start. If you have not finished that book you started 2 months back, I request you to finish it. If you have started doing something and you haven't finished it, you need to start doing that. And as I was writing this point, I noticed that I'm being hypocritical because I finished my workout and all the machinery was lying down in my room and it was all over the room. There were 2 benches and weights. You should also look around your room right now. I stopped writing and I went and cleared my room out, and now in my peripheral vision I see a clean room. So if you are stuck and if you are feeling a bit shit, please look around your room right now and identify things. Defog the mirror. Go and wipe your television screen. Go and wipe your glasses. Go and clean your room. That bed, on your bed, there are many things lying. Your bed is your haven. It should always be well made. There should not be any clothes lying on it. Go and tidy your room. Go and, wipe your face. Throw away the clothes for washing. Go and wash your clothes. Make your bed every morning when you wake. Start finishing things you start. If you start finishing things you start, there'll be a very elementary and basic handshake your life will make with who it wants to be. And that basic handshake and that inner conviction is all you need to propel yourself to the next step. So I'm going to quickly run through the 7 steps of how to deal with a tough life. The first was acceptance of what is happening to you. Number 2 is showing vulnerability and being true to yourself. Number 3 is having a core tenet or a value system of philosophies of who you want to be in life. Number 4 is understanding the difference between belief, conviction, and opinion. Number 5 is being objective with yourself and playing back scenarios by writing it by means of journal. Number 6 is discipline by understanding the core principles of your life. Understand that your discipline means you need to do things which are your core principles of a good life and your values. Number 7 is to finish things you start. Stop not finishing things. Start by finishing things. Cleaning your room, cleaning your immediate surrounding, having a clean desk, having a clean bedroom. Tidy things up, and I promise you, you'll be doing very good. I want to end this by saying that I have a friend, who says he's going through depression. One day I went to his house and it was in a state of chaos. There were clothes kept everywhere. There were bags. There were cans of Pepsi, Coke, some beer cans. There was a suit of dirt everywhere. His room was dirty. The entrance was dirty. There were plastic bags strewn about everywhere. And I said, "How are you living like this?" And he's like, "Dude, you don't know. I don't have the time." Make the time in your life to do these things. Always finish everything you start, guys. I hope this was helpful. I will speak to you soon. Bye for now.